front. It could be N. I'm going to do N and then LX. Back, GX. Still on 675 for the stitch size. I'm resetting my row counter, and we are going to do 24 rows back and forth just on the front. Okay, now we are going to do this little wing side first, this one closest to the lock. So we are going to bring all the other pushers out of work. So I'm going to bring that one in work. Okay, and then just 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, you can use, if you're on the e6000, if you're on the DM80, just exactly like the back, BX. If you're on the e6000, you can program this in the console, or you can manually put the pushers up. I will actually show you how to do it in the console. So let me reset my program. I'm going to erase what I have in there. Cast on, doesn't matter, put anything, 1. All stitch patterns, no. Okay, stitch pattern A is 100. 1, 0, 0. Enter. Test, no. All, yes. Form, no. Left needle. Okay, so here's where we go. We are starting at 46. Right needle is 61. Start cast on. Start position, enter, cast on. Now to ABC, stitch pattern A, SX, GX, empty row, dragging handle down, it doesn't matter actually, needles, empty row, color 1, stitch size, black strippers, LX, row counter 0. Okay. So, just these 16 should be up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We are going to do 1 row. Okay, now I'm going to move the the leftmost 2 of this right wing over 1 each. I'm going to pull this stitch a little bigger so it doesn't shorten too much. And then I am going to put that pusher out of work. Not in the down position, but out of work, so the console doesn't push it back up. So now that I have this range, the machine doesn't know if I have these pushers up or down. Actually, it's only out of work or in work. It doesn't really care that I have it out of work. But what it is going to care about is if I don't have the lock go past those stitches. So as we decrease, as we have our work smaller, maybe tempted not to go as far, you have to hit correct to make the lock not give you an error if you don't go to the end point. So I'm just gonna do some big movements on the left. We're gonna go all this way every single time. Okay, and back again. So that's the stitch 2 together. And again, the pusher completely out of work. And 2 rows back. Did you want to help, sweetie? Do you want to help? Right over here. Just like that. Yeah, okay, you can put those there. Make those stitches a little bigger because they have a tendency to shorten. Put those pushers back up. 1, 2. And just repeat until you've gone through all the stitches. Pop, 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 pop. I'm just pulling the yarn each time so it doesn't just want to spring back up and shorten that stitch. So I'm just giving it a little extra slack each time. Because it just tends to want to pull back up. It's a tendency. So I'm going to pull it back down. Okay, and just combine these into one. Down. Oh, I didn't knit that. Put the pusher down. Back. Let's try that again. Yeah, I knit that time. Okay, and I'm going to get one more, and then trim it. So first, hold this, second, trim it, third. Since I knit this twice, the second time I can have it just come through. Okay, and that's wing number 1 on the right. And we have to do wing number 2 on the left. Okay, I'm going to have to secure this yarn again. Drop it between the beds. Okay, now I'm not going to reprogram. What I'm going to do is hit correct, C-O-R. Oh, it has to be on the right side. So sorry about that. I'm going to move the lock to the right. And then the left needle is going to be 2. Right needle is going to be 17. Because I need 16. 17 minus 2 is 15 plus 1 is 16 inclusive. If you're doing left of center, you don't have to add the 1 because there's no 0. You can add how many there are on each side, but if you are doing just on one side, how many are between left, right, how many needles is the range 2 to 17? Well, if it was 1 to 17, it would be 17. Just get rid of 1, that's 16. But what you do is 17 minus 2, that's 15. And then add back 1 to get the other endpoint. Inclusive. So now we are going to, right needle 17. Row count 34, it doesn't matter what row we're on. Okay. So then I'm going to bring those needles into work. Okay. And that should be 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, and I'm going to go back to GX because actually I want to start from the outside. I'm being consistent. I'm going to have all the decreases be symmetrical, not have one row higher than the other. I'm just going to start from the outside each time. You don't have to. You could choose to do it differently. Okay, now we are on LX. Okay, so one row. I'm actually going to hold my yarn manually because I don't need to waste, 2 extra feet because I'm securing it way further than I need it. I don't need it that long. So I'm just going to hold it down below. Okay. And move these 2 over. Okay, you see how this is shortened that stitch? We want to lengthen it again and get that pusher completely out of work. And make sure these pushers haven't dropped down too far. Okay, I am still going to hold this yarn tail here, and I'm going to do 2 rows. 1, 2, and then another decrease. Oop, split that. Completely out of work. 2 rows. Pop up. Now if you notice that latch was sticking a little bit and it's bent a little bit, I will show you what I do for those. You may be tempted to just cut it out and put a new one in, but if you recall that they are not manufacturing these machines and accessories anymore, at some point we're going to run out of needles completely. So I just like to save the needles and only get rid of them when they're not salvageable. So we'll see if we can save that. But we'll just wait a few more stitches and we'll come back to this one. Okay, 2 more rows. One, 2. Good, thank you. Nope, 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 nope. Just 2. Just 2. Just 2, sweetie. Nope, not yet. Okay, fingers off. Okay. 1, 2. Thank you. Stop. Oops. Okay. 2 rows. Did you want to help Mommy? 1, 2. Snip. And hold the yarn. I'm actually just going to wrap it on the NX right now just because of where my little girl's holding. I can't get it. And so this, I'm going to pull this all the way through. There we go. All the weights and the cool things off. Okay. Okay, sweetie. Pick up the bed. Move the lock over. Re-secure this. Okay. Now we are going to put these on waste yarn. Put the yarn down, pick up the waste yarn, and we are going to do the front separate from the back. Okay, I'm just going to do just a handful of rows. You gonna help me, sweetie? Okay, let's do this together. Okay, I'm going on N. We're just gonna do a few rows. One. Oop. Yes. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to do one row GX to get the lock over here because I'm going to get the trick fit. Quick and easy deal. Okay, you start with them both down. Both down. Okay, I get the eyelet from the lock. That's why I have it on the left. So I don't have to maneuver it through, take the wire off or something. If you have a DM80, it's not as big a deal. You can feed it through. But I'm getting this through there. The yarn is underneath the Decker needle. I pull up one needle here, wrap it around, move this to between those needles in the empty space, snap that in, left side up, and it shoots those needles up. You'll see those needles shoot up. And then we just turn. Okay, we're almost done. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to hit this up, and that's going to prevent all the needles from coming off. And then just undoing. Past it. Okay, take the eyelet out, feed it around, pull this off the bed at the right angle. Got it? Okay, so I'm going to feed this through one more time. And I am going to snip this yarn as well. Yeah. And feed that through. Okay, and do the same exact thing on the back. Okay, lock is in GX. We're going to move this to the right. Yes. Yeah. Back, I'm going to put on N. The mask on. Tension arm. Okay, and we are just going to do a few rows, sweetie. Now this one, I have to knit it to the left because the Tricot Fit starts to the right of the work rotationally. It goes clockwise. So I need this to be on this side. So again, we start with these both levers. Oops. I start with these levers both down. Okay, we feed it through. I don't know if you see. I'm going to feed it through here, and on this side of that Decker needle and push that through here. Yeah, upside down is a little weird, but that's what it looks like. Okay, this one up here, do a little loop around it so the yarn is basically coming from that side. Okay, Decker needle needs to be in the empty spot, and then and what are you doing? Okay, putting it on there and snap it in. Okay, and then this side goes up, and so it pushes those needles up, and now we rotate. Yeah, you don't have to keep doing that, just getting it well past the work. Looks like I missed the first stitch. I didn't place it right. I should have visually checked over. The camera's in the way, so I didn't do that. That's okay. Doesn't really matter, because this is not a finished edge. It's just, I only do this so that the work doesn't unravel in the meantime. So just, and I've had a lot of practice on the tricot fit, so that's good at least. Okay, now it's the moment of truth. Does it look correct? Did I put in all the right ratios? Did I calculate it correctly? Let's find out. Okay, here is the, oh, what happened here? Well, that part's gonna have to be sewn up. I dropped a stitch without realizing, dropped a needle without realizing. Well, I'll show you guys that later. It's not a problem. That's the back now. Ha ha ha. The front and back are actually identical, so. It's also this yarn, there's the error in this yarn right here too. Where only one ply went over, so a little more fixes than I would have liked, but not impossible. That's this side. And this side looks good. So this is going to get sewn together like that, and there's going to be ribbing going across. So it opens like, you know, like a lot of baby clothes do, where just with the shoulder opening. And then there's a little armhole. Okay, so the next step is to do 4 pieces of ribbing, and they're all going to be put on waste yarn, and they're all going to be grafted on. 1 piece of ribbing for here, 1 piece of ribbing for here, 1 for this armhole, and 1 for this armhole. You could, you know, pick them up and do them by hand if you wanted. I mean, that's a possibility. I just don't want to have to pick up stitches on the bed and put them on the machine like that. So I could do that, except I am going to have a cast off edge, a bind off edge. If I don't do that, it's going to be a bind off edge on top of the ribbing. It's going to be like, you know, equivalent of right here. And I think it's easier just to, I'm fine with grafting. I've done a lot of grafting, done a lot of socks, done a lot of toes, so I'm fine with just grafting on the ribbing. But you could pick up the stitches. So how many is this? So let me get my little graph here. So for these, you're going to need to have 72 stitches. So you have your 28 in here. So then 44, so 22 on each side. So you'd have 20, you'd pick up 22 on this 16 decreases. So you do 22. So you just do every few. Add 6, you know, add every second or third, add you know, do an additional one somewhere. And on each end of those ribbings, you increase 1 for each of 4 rows. Because the ribbing is going to stick out like here if it's straight, and so we want to have a little bit more. We don't want to pull the curve, so we just want to cover in this little triangle in the corner. So we just do increases every row. Yarn changes. There's actually 2 ways to fix it. This is actually open on the top. If you really wanted to, you could drop these down and crochet back up. This one is actually more realistic to do that. I mean, it's just a few. I mean, this is like 3 times as many stitches. I mean, I'm okay with actually crocheting back up to fix this pop off here.